Last Tuesday, I sat alone in my office and listened to 43 missed voicemails from people who hadn't spoken to me in 7 years. Not one of them said I'm sorry. Every single one said the same 2 words. But to understand why that matters, you need to go back to the night everything broke. Thanksgiving. A small town where secrets don't stay buried, they get served with dinner. I was 23, working 2 jobs, saving every dollar I could, trying to build something for myself. Meanwhile, at that table, my sister was being celebrated like she hung the moon. And me. I was just there. Invisible. Until I asked one question. A simple one. What happened to Grandma's education fund? The room didn't just go quiet, it froze. The kind of silence that tells you something is very wrong, and everyone knows it except you. Then my mother smiled. Sweet. Controlled. Dangerous. And in front of everyone, she didn't answer the question. She rewrote the story. She's been acting unstable, she said. Just like that. I wasn't a daughter anymore. I was a problem. 10 minutes later, I heard the truth through a half-open doorway. The money, my money, was gone. Given to my sister. And that's when I realized something chilling. I hadn't lost $12,000. I had lost my place in that family. That night, I packed one suitcase, took $200, and walked out into the snow, knowing I would never come back. But what I didn't know was that leaving was only the beginning. White right pointing backhand index, because what happened after those 43 voicemails? That's where everything changes. I didn't leave with a plan. I left with $200, one suitcase, and nowhere to go. The furthest that money could take me was Portland. 38 hours on a bus. No sleep. Just staring out the window, wondering how your own family can erase you while you're still alive. When I got there, reality hit fast. A women's shelter the first night. A cheap hostel the next. No credit, no connections, no one to call. And back in my hometown. They weren't looking for me. They were rewriting me. I found out later that my mother told everyone I was in a facility. That I was unstable. That she was the strong, grieving parent holding everything together. And people believed her. Because lies are easy, when the truth isn't there to defend itself. Meanwhile, I was starting from zero. I got a job answering phones at a small consulting firm. Nothing glamorous. Just survival. But something strange happened there. For the first time in my life, someone saw me. Not as a burden. Not as a problem. As potential. I worked harder than anyone in that office, because I had nothing to fall back on. No safety net. No second chances. And slowly, things started to shift. Receptionist turned coordinator. Coordinator turned consultant. Nights were spent studying, days working, repeating the cycle until exhaustion felt normal. No applause. No shortcuts. Just discipline. While they were telling the world I had fallen apart. I was building something they never imagined I could. But here's the part no one talks about. Success doesn't erase what happened. It just makes the silence louder. 7 years passed like that. No calls. No messages. No apologies. Until one day, someone in my family finally searched my name. And everything they thought they knew about me collapsed in seconds. But what made them suddenly come back after 7 years? The answer isn't what you think. For 7 years, I didn't exist to them. No birthdays. No holidays. No "are you okay?" Nothing. Until one random afternoon, everything changed. Not because they missed me. Because they needed me. My sister was the first one to look me up. Not out of love, but desperation. She was drowning, divorce, debt, a house slipping away. And suddenly, she remembered something she hadn't thought about in years. Me. So she typed my name into Google. And what she found shattered everything. A professional profile. A leadership title. An article about my work. The same person they told everyone was unstable was now running operations at a growing company. And just like that, the story they had been telling for 7 years collapsed. That night, the calls started. One after another. By the time I checked my phone, there were 43 missed calls. And when I listened to the voicemails, they all sounded different, but meant the same thing. My sister. I need to talk to you, it's important. My father. The family's going through a rough time. We could really use your help. My brother. I've got a business idea. Just need a little backing. And then my mother. Family is family. We need to talk. Not one of them said, I'm sorry. Not one of them asked, how are you? Just 2 words, over and over again. Help me. That's when it hit me. They didn't come back because they cared. They came back because I was finally useful. 7 years of silence, and now I was an opportunity, an answer to their problems, an ATM with a past they hoped I'd forget. I sat there, listening to every message, and felt something unexpected. Not anger. Clarity. Because for the first time, I saw it exactly for what it was. And I knew one thing for certain. I wasn't going to respond the way they expected. Because what I did next didn't just shock them, it exposed everything they tried to hide. I didn't call them back. Not my sister. Not my father. Not even my mother. Because after 7 years of silence, I wasn't going to rush into noise. Instead, I did something they never expected. I went back home. But not as the girl who left with $200 and a suitcase. I went back as the keynote speaker at the biggest community event in town. And they had no idea. The night of the fundraiser, the room was full. People who had heard about me for years, but only one version of the story. Their version. My mother sat at the center table, smiling, confident, still controlling the narrative. Until my name was announced. Please welcome, Selena Lawson. You could feel the shift in the room. I walked onto that stage, calm, composed, everything they said I could never be. And then I saw them. My mother, frozen. My father, silent. My sister, staring like she'd seen a ghost. My brother, speechless. For 7 years, they told everyone I was broken. And now I was standing in front of 200 people, proving them wrong without even saying their names. I gave my speech. Professional. Controlled. But near the end, I told the truth. Not accusations. Not drama. Just one sentence that changed everything. Sometimes the help you need is distance. Silence filled the room. Not awkward silence. Realization. And in that moment, the story they built for years collapsed. After the event, they tried to approach me. Smiles. Soft voices. Acting like nothing happened. But I didn't step into that version of reality anymore. Because here's what I finally understood. Closure doesn't come from them apologizing. It comes from you no longer needing it. That night, I sent one message. No money. No favors. No pretending. If they wanted a relationship, it starts with truth. Real truth. Not help me. I'm sorry. And until those words exist, so does my distance. White right pointing backhand index. Now I want to ask you something. If they called you after years of silence, what would they say? Help me, or I'm sorry.